Okay, so welcome back to another video. Today I want to quickly remind you guys to use code Ripire in the item shop before purchasing anything in the item shop, because it really does help support the channel. I really do appreciate you guys using my code, and if you do, definitely tweet me you using my code and buying something. So it's at Ripire on Twitter, and I'll show you in the next video if you do so. Okay, so before the video actually starts, I'm sorry about interrupting this so much, guys, but I want to let you know I've made a pretty big investment into the quality of my videos going forward. So in the future, when I have face cams and stuff, I'll have better lighting, hopefully, as well as my quality of recording going forward. Not in this video itself, because this video is using some old footage. I'll be actually recording at 60 FPS instead of 30 FPS, as well as I'll be recording at a much higher bit rate on the video. So the video quality will be 1080p still, but it'll be a much higher bit rate of the video. It'll be a lot higher quality, as well as double the FPS. So it will basically just look a lot smoother, hopefully, and overall increase the production quality of my videos going forward. So hopefully that's going to be a really good thing to look out for. I'm really excited to do that, but anyway, let's get into the main video today. Okay, so controller players have been a bit of a problem recently, and to counter that, Epic Games have decided to remove legacy controls entirely. So a while ago they added advanced options, which meant there was 3 different types of aim assist in Fortnite. There was legacy options, there was the linear, and there was exponential. So those two were in the advanced options. So linear, if you don't already know, is basically where you can track people up and down a lot easier, whereas exponential would be better off if someone was for example, gliding along in a horizontal line. But either way, Legacy was very broken due to its ability to shoot people through bushes and be able to find people, as well as perfectly aim on people that are in houses. It was very broken in very many ways, and it wasn't meant to be acting like it was. So a lot of controller players are upset. Some admitted that it was overpowered and it needs to be fixed. But the real problem, I think, is, was it enough? Because linear is still in the game, and a lot of people are going to be going to that over exponential. Now, the main reason being is linear allows people to track players' movements vertically whenever they're jumping, and that is by far the best way to evade someone's gunfire in Fortnite, is jumping, believe it or not. You'll see it in almost any fight. People will either jump or crouch. Now that's just linear movement. That's the player actually just moving up and down. So with exponential, they will only have aim assist really when they're going horizontally, which is only when they're either running or rotating using a launch pad. Whereas 90% of the time or so, whenever you're in a gunfight, a player will be jumping up and down or crouching, trying to avoid gunfire. Sorry. And anyone with linear will be able to perfectly track that player within a certain range and just absolutely obliterate them. Now, obviously, I'm a mouse and keyboard player, I'm a bit biased, but I just think with a good controller player, like, not even a good controller player, like an average controller player, having that ability, it's just ridiculous, because even if I'm warming up 3-4 hours a day, I'm still not going to be able to outcompete them. Well, I know you can say just get good, you're just getting beaten, just suck it up. But it's not really fair for someone on mouse and keyboards that could play for hours more on end and get still melted just because they have aim assist. Now, it's not just the aim assist, because Fortnite's controller is a bit broken anyway, because if you do believe it or you don't believe it, it's whatever. There's a lot of evidence out there already, but if you want to deny it, cool. But it's been proven multiple times that controller players have less bloom and less recoil than keyboard and mouse players. Now what that means is they hit more shots when they're just shooting the same target. They'll hit more shots because they have less bloom, as well as easier to hit shots because there's less recoil. So it's not really a fair fight from that already. And take into account the perfect tracking from aim assist and linear, then you have a very, very deadly player on your hands right there. And that is not something you want to go against in a close encounter, like a box fight. So in box fights, that is by far the hardest shots to hit for a keyboard and mouse player, because the player is so close to them, it is very hard to predict where they're going to move, and although they're in a close encounter sort of situation, those are when your shots really have to hit, because there's no way you can build or edit in time. You literally just have to outgun them, and 90% of the time, I'm going to say, whenever I'm in that situation, I die to a controller player, and it's not really because they're outskilling me. It's just because they out-aim me, and it's too easy for them to out-aim me. Like I said, I'm biased because I'm on keyboard and mouse, but at the same time, I feel like this should be more of an even playing ground. And if someone puts in, I don't know, 10 hours a day, they shouldn't be able to beat get beaten by someone on controller who only puts in like 30 minutes a day. Now that's an exaggeration, I know, but the problem is, even though I could be like the best keyboard and mouse player in the world, which I'm not saying I am, I will still get beaten a lot of the time by controllers just because of the less bloom, the perfect tracking. And it's not just me that's having this problem. Look at any pro in the Fortnite community, you'll see people like Booger, Mongrel, Benji Fishy, they'll all still get destroyed by these controller players up close. Now, some people are less vocal about it than others, but I'm going to just give my point across. If you guys disagree, I know a lot of you do play on controller and you're going to have that natural bias to support your, I don't know, your way of playing. But if you want to try my way and you want to try and play with keyboard and mouse, I encourage you to buy like a cheap keyboard and mouse, plug it into your PlayStation or your Xbox or your PC if you're playing with a controller on PC, and just try and have a go on like a, I don't even know, like a shooting range course, or just hop into a Team Rumble or something like that, and you'll see that it's not easy to do. Now, it might feel a lot easier because people say you can have your whole arm to aim, but in truth, a lot of keyboard and mouse players don't actually use their entire arm to aim. Some do, like Tfue, whereas others don't, like Benji Fishy. So it's one of those that it's kind of personal preference, and just because you can use your whole arm doesn't mean they do. Whereas with controllers, I've never seen a player actually not use aim assist, because even if they didn't use aim assist and he just aims naturally, they will still have the reduced bloom and reduced recoil, which still has a huge advantage over mouse and keyboard players, especially at those long range or medium range engagements with ARs, where that added recoil can really decrease accuracy. With a controller, it's a lot easier to aim, as well as you've got to counter in the fact that controller players have a lot easier to move. I don't even know how to describe it. There's multi-directional movement in controller opposed to keyboard and mouse, where there's only, I believe, 4 different directions you can move in: forward, backward, left, right. Whereas with controller, there's a full 360 degree rotation that you can do. You can look any way you need. Whereas with keyboard and mouse, you have that disadvantage as well. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, if they do take it out completely, aim assist, with like they're doing with Legacy, maybe they need to reconsider the whole bloom thing, or maybe buff bloom for PC players. Although keyboard and mouse players do place highly in tournaments quite regularly, but actually a lot of them have been controller players winning tournaments recently. Now that's due to, like I said, with controller players, I don't know if there's a surge of them now, but I see them a lot more in my games. Or is it just because they've got buffed aim assist? I'm not too sure, but they are melting tournaments. They are crushing it. Although DreamHack was won by a keyboard and mouse player, plenty of other tournaments recently have been won by controller players. So I can't remember which tournament it was, but I know Ghost Assault won a tournament, and he was a controller player. There's quite recently as well. There's been quite a few, and what I'm trying to say is, although this is a nerf to controllers, I don't know if it's enough to actually make them balanced. So you can dislike this video if you like, or leave a comment telling me what you think of this. It's a bit of a ramble today, I'm sorry about that, but just let me know, because I wanted to get this out there and find out what you guys thought of this, because it's a bit of a hot topic right now, and I want to know what you guys think about it. But that's going to be the end of today's video, guys. If you've enjoyed, leave a like and a comment saying so. Until this video, guys, peace.